And we start with GTM Revenue.
So imagine you're a B2B company and you're crushing it. You spent lots of money on marketing and you've generated 50 sales meetings just this week. But now before you open up that champagne bottle and celebrate, your sales team actually needs to convert those meetings into sales. And there's a mountain of manual work in front of them. They need to spend hours on manual research, updating the CRM, and dozens of follow-ups just to close one deal. And the crazy part is that your sales teams, they're professionals, and they know they need to be doing these activities, but most of the time, they just don't do it. GTM Revenue is a proactive AI that ensures your sales teams follow best practices so you can turn your leads into 60% more closed deals. The problem isn't the 25 million B2B salespeople in the world. They know the best practices that they need to follow. However, the current processes and tools make following those best practices a soul-crushing manual grind. So we've created a software that actually works for the salesperson, and we increase their efficiency by 50%, and we make following those best practices a lot more easy, efficient, and more likely to happen. And with us, companies can close up to 60% more of their deals. And as one of our first clients said, this is like my sales wet dream. So how does it work? First, whenever a company gets a new lead, we give them all of the possible research that they would otherwise need hours to get. Then we connect to everything like email, LinkedIn, Zoom calls, all of the phone calls that you're making. So GTM Revenue becomes the central source of truth and intelligence of every single lead and interaction. Then companies can set up their own best practices and workflows, and our proactive AI helps reduce the manual work needed to actually take action on those best practices by 70%, and we make it a lot more likely that teams follow those best practices. In terms of validation, we went from idea to a ready product and 5 paying customers in 3 months, and we didn't spend any money on marketing. We didn't even try, but we got over 50 meetings because there's real demand for a product like this. In terms of go-to-market strategy, we're currently focusing on sales and marketing agencies that generate B2B leads. We have a no-brainer offer for them. And we're trying to create an agency ecosystem where both the agency and all of their customers get on our software. In terms of market opportunity, the market is giant. Even if we only get 0.015% of the market by year 3, we're looking at around 5 million in ARR, and there's over 3.5 million B2B companies that fit our ICP. We do have competitors, and I have done lots of analysis on the market, and most of the other companies don't fully understand the issue that they're solving, and the platforms are not as capable as they need to be. So GTM Revenue is at the top here. In terms of team, we have me, Alexander Velev. I've been in the agency space for over 5 years. I've generated over 50 million in sales for SaaS companies, worked with over 75 different B2B companies. And our development, we have one software architect with over 25 years of experience, worked for SoftServe and Siemens, and one senior developer. The funding we're asking for is 243,000 euros for the next 18 months, with the goal of getting to 90 customers at ARR of 9,200 euros a year, and that will get us to around 800,000 ARR in those 18 months.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Let's move to the Q&A. There is a mic you can use.
Hello, and thank you for the presentation. You mentioned you're building an AI agent, not an AI assistant, right?
Well, here's the thing. Most agents on the market cannot actually perform properly, and this is the real issue that we're solving here, because we're building a platform with all of the intelligence that AI agents need to actually perform. So all of the deep research that I mentioned, all of the context that we get from email, LinkedIn, phone calls that people are making, and the best practices that people want to follow, and all of that is used to create an entire AI system that can actually help people, not just an AI agent that does something and it doesn't have the needed data to actually perform.
So does it orchestrate the data or?
What do you mean by orchestrate?
As an AI agent, do you mean that it collects all the data and gives recommendation, or it also analyzes and orchestrates the data to give you the proper exports?
Yes, so we do it all. We collect all of the data, and then it's used in various ways. One way it's used is to help you actually do your work, so like sending a follow-up. Another way it's used is for the management of the salespeople to have more intelligence on what exactly their salespeople are doing or they're not doing, so they can look for ways to improve their processes of the whole company.
How do you exactly reduce the manual input that every salesperson needs to do?
Yes, so there's many things. As I mentioned, a couple of them. One is manually needing to update the CRM. Most teams also spend tens of hours a week researching leads. They need to send follow-ups. They need to go back into conversations and review what was said. And there's really, the majority of the salesperson time is not spent efficiently right now on the tasks that I mentioned, for example. And these are the kind of things that we help them do more efficiently. They still need to review it. We don't want teams to just be using AI and we have no idea what's happening. We want to make salespeople into superhumans, so they can only focus on the highest leverage activities.
I see that the time is up. Thank you very much for the presentation.